Tonight on News Watch 2, Sandy Gilmore substitutes for Terry Wood.
Aspen police say they had little to go on in their search for accused murderer Theodore Bundy. Bundy escaped from a Colorado courthouse yesterday after a recess had been called in his murder hearing. Bundy, who had earlier been convicted of kidnapping in Utah, is facing a first-degree murder charge in the 1975 beating death of Michigan nurse Karen Campbell. Reporter Brad White has just returned from Aspen, where he's been covering the story since it broke. And Brad arrived at the Salt Lake airport just moments ago. Brad, what's happened?
Dan, you're right when you say they have very little to go on. Very, very little. But they were up early today, the searchers that is. They were up with the sun, as a matter of fact. Searchers now have 5 special dogs which are combing the Aspen area in hopes to try and find Bundy. Authorities are concentrating their efforts in the hills behind the courthouse where Bundy escaped yesterday. A helicopter was brought into the search with special equipment to detect a man's body heat, even if the man's hiding under trees, and there are a lot of trees in that area. So far, everything has failed, and there's still no trace of Bundy. But Aspen Police Chief Art Hoagland says his men are working round the clock.
We've had even some help from the fire department as far as just searching, but not with orders not to make any contact with him if we should see him.
How about leads? Do you have any good ones yet?
Not really. We're just exploring any possibilities that we might have as far as any reports that we get. We make sure we follow up and on every one of them.
Are people around here reacting? Are they scared?
Oh, I think they are. I think that some of them are tending to overreact to it right now. We're trying to tell them just to keep track of each other and keep calm about it. Man apparently is just trying to get away. He just wants out of here.
Bundy escaped from the Pitkin County Courthouse yesterday during a recess in a hearing related to his murder trial. He had gone to a small law library in the back of the courtroom. Then, when out of sight of his guard, he jumped about 30 feet to the ground. And he hasn't really been seen since. There have been unofficial sightings of Bundy. None of them have really come true so far, though, Dan.
Brad, do police think Bundy is still in the Aspen area?
They're starting to waver a little on that. Yesterday, they were saying, yes, he's definitely in the area. We had the roadblocks up too quickly. But now they're varying a little. As time goes by, they're not so certain.
Brad, this is Sandy. Do police think that Bundy had any help in his escape?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you because of the jet.
Do police think that Bundy had any help in his escape?
The conspiratorial theories come up several times. In fact, the law enforcement agencies there say if he is in fact out of that valley, it's a very small valley surrounded by mountains on both sides, the only way he could have got out was with help from the outside.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Brad. And Brad will be back here at 10 o'clock with a further report on News Watch 2.
News Watch 2, Sandy Gilmore substitutes for Terry Wood.
Good evening. Convicted kidnapper Theodore Bundy is still on the run after yesterday's escape at Aspen, Colorado. Bundy escaped during a hearing in his murder trial at the county courthouse. That escape has prompted one of the largest manhunts the area has ever known. Reporter Brad White has the story.
Bundy was last seen wearing a brown turtleneck sweater and tan corduroys. He is described as 5'11" with brown wavy ear-length hair. The sheriff says he is dangerous and you should not try to apprehend him. If you spot Bundy, call the sheriff's department immediately.
So far, those radio announcements haven't done much good in Aspen, but authorities are checking out every possible tip. Searchers started combing the foothills during the early morning hours today with the help of some tracking dogs. A special helicopter was brought in with infrared heat detectors capable of picking up a man's body heat. But despite all these elaborate efforts, Theodore Bundy is still at large. Police Chief Art Hoagland says he's got his men working around the clock.
We've had even some help from the fire department as far as just searching, but not with orders not to make any contact with him if we should see him.
How about leads? Do you have any good ones yet?
Not really. We're just exploring any possibilities that we might have as far as any reports that we get. We make sure we follow up and on every one of them.
Bundy escaped from this courtroom yesterday during a short recess in a hearing on his murder trial. He had gone to a small law library in the back of the courtroom, out of sight of his guard. It was then that he jumped out of a second-story window. The Pitkin County Sheriff has promised a full investigation of the escape when the current search is ended. Some Aspen residents could care less about the Bundy escape, but many others are frightened.
I'd be worried about walking around at night. I think it's really scary. I don't like it. I wish they would just catch him.
A lot of your friends scared?
Yeah, a lot of friends at
All the
school.
girls at the school, especially ones that brunette.
Yeah, that look like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The reason many people in this mountain community are frightened is simply because they don't know whether Bundy is still in the area. He could be in another state, long gone, or he could be somewhere hiding in these foothills. Brad White, Newswatch 2 in Aspen, Colorado.